Now we've been trying to figure out what the hell has been going on with the Bongino. Every time I explain something, it gets worse. So this time he's on Fox. Bongino issues powerful call to action as he fights vaccine mandate. By the way, he's doing this. This clip is from him on Fox, where they have a vaccine mandate. So police officers forced to choose job or jab. Job. Sorry. Yeah. Here we go.
Unfiltered. It's Dan Bongino. Dan?
Are you sure that's his name? Somebody should really put like his logo up behind him with a lot of times, just in case people get confused. And by the way, thanks for putting on a jacket over your t-shirt like you're a comedian in 1987.
Great to have you. You were one of these human beings. Actually.
Or a bouncer at a bar called Douchies.
Dan, you are one of these human beings. You, of course, served here in New York City. You
Citation needed.
Served the Secret Service. And here today, you are a commentator, a great one at that. And you've chosen to take a stand against vaccine mandates at your company, Cumulus Media. Tell me what you make of all these mandates, their cost, and why you're making this stand.
And why you're on Fox today, where they have a mandate, and you repeatedly show up on Fox where they have a mandate, and where this guy works where they have a mandate and hasn't quit in protest either. So basically you're calling this guy an asshole. I don't even know who he is, and I agree with you. But then it's the only thing Bongino and I agree on is that this dude, whoever he is, because he's on Fox and in studio, is obviously weak and doesn't believe in freedom, hates America, and is here just to destroy the Constitution as he wipes his ass with it every day by showing up at a place where they have a vaccine mandate. And of course, he as a paid contributor on Fox News is showing up, to also contribute to help them sell toilet paper. Right.
Well, I'm making the stand, one, and I should disclose, as I have often, it's not a secret, I've said it many times on the air, I'm vaccinated. I had lymphoma, which is a cancer of the immune system. Things are okay now, but I was as high risk as they get. I took the shot.
Well, not really, but appreciated that you talk about that. Also, you couldn't work at Fox if you didn't get it.
On advice of an oncologist and doctor, but that's the point, Will, isn't it? That situation, thank God, was unique to me. I mean, not everybody has lymphoma. Again, thank the Lord, and I'm not using his name in vain. That was my unique situation, and a consultation after.
Well, yes, you are, because you don't actually care from a religious standpoint. You are on Fox, participating in faux religiosity. So that is the very definition. Just saying the word it's not like a portrait of Muhammad where you can't make a graven image.
That I had with a very intelligent doctor who's a personal friend of mine. This was never, however, Will, ever about a vaccine. You may say, of course, it's a vaccine mandate. No. Let me disabuse anyone out there.
Well, it's technically a testing mandate depending on the size of the company.
This has nothing to do with the vaccine. The left hated the vaccine when Donald Trump.
No, they didn't. They just weren't going to take it on his say-so alone. He'll probably bring up Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris's statement is, if the scientists say it's okay, of course I'm going to take it. If Donald Trump just comes out and says, take the vaccine, I'm not going on his fucking word. I'm waiting for the scientists to say so. Which they did, and she did, which we all did, except for Trump's followers who won't follow the scientists even when he tells them to.
Operation created these vaccines. The left, it's still out there. You can go watch it and read their tweets. They said they'd never take it. They don't trust it.
No, they didn't. And no, we didn't. They don't trust just his say-so. But again, we go back to Dan Bongino has a problem with reading. It's very difficult. He has a lot of challenges. We don't know if they're related to the fact that, maybe it's a side effect of the vaccine. It could be that, he used ivermectin eye drops. Who can say?
And then they flipped on a dime when Joe Biden waltzed his way into the Oval Office, and all of a sudden.
Well, no, a bunch of people were taking it, especially if they were high risk, or getting their relatives to take it before Biden came into office. When it was first being made available, they were just limited supplies. Everybody was lining up to do it once the FDA gave it emergency use authorization. But again, they weren't just going to go on Trump's word. Now you believe in taking Trump's word for everything, except, of course, getting people to take the vaccine.
You're a heretic if you dare ask questions. And one more thing here. Listen, we run this country. This is our country. We built it. We built it. We power.
Did you? You must be exhausted. How do you ever find time to sleep? You built it, did you? Nobody else did? Who's we? You mean Americans? You mean the other people you're fucking talking about?
We run it. This is our country. We outnumber.
Well, yeah, we have a democracy. We choose our leadership, and the majority chose Joe Biden this time around. So that's how we run it, actually. We have representational government. We hire people to represent our interests by voting. Yeah.
Them. These people work for us. If we stand in solidarity and say, my body is mine, it was given to me by God, it was not a ward and is not a ward.
Well, it was loaned to you. I don't think it was given to you or whatever. You get to use it for a short time. You can have a little bit of dust for a few years, but it goes back to the dust thing when you're done.
The state, I will determine what goes in it and what does not go in it via some injection.
Right. Yeah, you can do that. Knock yourself out. But you don't also get to determine you're not going to do something that's required to go someplace or do something. No shoes, no shirt, no service, fuckhead.
And a vaccine. When we stand in solidarity, there is nothing they can do.
Well, technically, I wouldn't say stand in solidarity. More like get proned in solidarity by some overworked nurses as they have to intubate you.
You know, Will, they want us to genuflect in front of them, but
is that what you're doing? Thank you for writing it. I was very confused. Host of Unfiltered. Yes, it's certainly unfiltered by logic and common sense and a consideration of reality.
Person stands and a second and a third person joins them. Eventually they realize 51% of people standing and the outcasts are the ones on their knees. I'm not getting on my knees. No.
Easy. No one is asking you to get on your knees except Donald Trump, and that's why yours are dirty. We get it.
No one else should get on their darn knees either. It's your body, and I stood up for these people.
Well, yeah, stand up for your bodily autonomy, but don't expect that if you stand for your bodily autonomy, that means you can go in other people's spaces that they have set rules for themselves, especially by either electing governmental representatives that set the rules that lean in the direction that they're doing by overwhelming numbers. And then, of course, private institutions who care about their other customers and their employees enough to let some fucko come in there and carry a fake vaccine card or lie about it. Yeah, you got all have bodily autonomy. Go out in the fucking woods and build a Unabomber shack and live in there. Nobody is stopping you.
I have leverage and I have the power to do it. And I have a voice and I'm not going to forfeit this opportunity and let them lie.
Well, technically you are, because you said you're giving up your radio show because Cumulus have rules about this. So you're giving up that opportunity. Technically.
Their life and get their asses kicked. I'm sorry. These people got to sit down and explain to their kids why they're out of a job because they have natural immunity and some company decided to play Dr. Fauci who can't seem to get his head out of his own ass.
Well, no, there's a movement. Start that idea that people who've had it already have natural immunity and therefore they should be allowed to work without getting vaccinated. They should follow science on that. That's not what this is. That's not what those people are arguing. This isn't about people who've already had COVID. This is about people who haven't had COVID yet and aren't going to get the vaccine and are in the perfect window for interacting with people while spreading the disease.
And get his own story straight. So I'm really sorry. It's time we all stood up. And one more thing, if I may.
Well, you are sitting, and you may not. And also, is a funny way to announce that you are quitting Cumulus Radio. Oh, wait, you're not? That's interesting.
Don't be afraid. Folks, we come on the air and I do it myself. We say, I'm not anti-vax. Okay? Why do we even say that? That's a capitulation to the left. You may be anti.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry, what?
One day. You know what? You may come out and there may be a vaccine for another disease that you read about.
Hang on a second. You may be anti-vax one day. This is healthy. Sorry. See the look in this dude's face right now? You're going into getting us shut down territory.
You may
what
be
now?
anti-vax one day. You know what? You may come out and there may be a vaccine for another disease that you read about, and the research doesn't work out. It is perfectly acceptable. I'm not.
Well, that wouldn't make you anti-vax. That would make you vaccine hesitant about a new vaccine. That wouldn't make you anti-vax means no vaccines. You don't believe in vaccination, that you think that all vaccines are bad. That's the situation that a lot of people that are, like the Robert Kennedys of the world, that's what they're doing. That's what they're talking about. They're not for some vaccines. They're for none of them. You're not anti-vax if you're vaccine hesitant about a new one. You can make the case about that hesitancy, and you can make, you can limit your own behavior until you decide you either want to take on the risk, and there's a legal way that you can do that, or you can get vaccinated. But that didn't make you anti-vax, dum-dum.
Anti-this vax. I took it. Let me be specific on that. But we do this, and it's a capitulation to the left. We don't owe them squat.
Why the fuck is it a capitulation to the left? It's a clarification, one would think. And by the way, it's a capitulation to Fox News is what it is, because if you don't get that shot, then you can't go to Fox. I mean, obviously you're not in the studio today. You're doing this from your crawl space or wherever.
Don't be afraid. You have every right to read the research and say, hey, listen, this thing was sold as 90+% effectiveness and it's not. Can I get an answer why? You have every right as a...
Well, it clearly is. Hold on one second. And one of the reasons why people are concerned about it is that they feel that it was rushed because of Operation Fart Steve.
Captain's log.
Which we all know was the brainchild of the Trump administration to prove how fast they were doing something, when everyone's concern was partly that we need to get this as quick as possible, but we have to come up with other solutions until we get a vaccine, because you can't rush something like this.
Captain's log.
Just so, yeah.
Free, God-given rights, free person, big R rights to ask questions. You don't owe them squat.
Well, you kind of do. I mean, send your kids to elementary school. See if they can go without a whooping cough vaccine. You ever volunteer at your fucking kid's school? You're going to need one of those vaccines. You're not going to get whooping cough. It's not going to harm you, but you don't want to carry it to the kids because it could fuck one of them up. So you get a vaccine for something that is not going to directly harm you, because you make a choice of whether or not you want to volunteer at your kid's school. Right? Right?
You speak up and don't be afraid.
Well, you have to understand, this dude's about to lose a shit ton of money on two fronts. That's why he's panicked about this. One is his Cumulus job. He's got to turn this into a political thing, so hopefully Cumulus will back doed and let him keep his job. That's why he's freaking out. That's why his eyes are like that. And the other reason, of course, is that Trump is about to launch turdruth.com, his social media network, which is going to fuck up Parler, and he's one of the investors in Parler.
Be afraid. Don't capitulate these idiots on the left.
And really quickly then, Dan.
And by the way, idiots on the left, he means the executives who own and operate Fox News, because that's the rule there.
You make the point, you point out that you are vaccinated, but your stand is a principled stand for others that work with you who arrive at a...
By the way, a stand that no one at Fox News is making for anybody who works at Fox News or for Fox News.
Different choice, an individualized choice from yours.
Make an individualized choice. You don't also have an individualized choice to have access to other spaces if people don't feel like you're safe. The fuck are you talking about? How is it? Be free, but stand out in a fucking field by yourself. How is it anybody else's responsibility to let you spread a disease because you just don't feel like, you should be made to prevent that spread to anybody else? What the fuck?
That's not the definition of principle. I do not know what is. So let's just...
Well, you do, technically speaking, in all deference, you do not know what is, because you work at Fox, where they have a strict vaccine mandate. No one who works there can have it. Look at Bongino. He's feeling it right now. He knows exactly what I'm saying. And so you're basically filleting him while bullshitting yourself for a living. That's got to be weird.
A ribbon on this. You said it's not about the vaccine, Dan. You point out the hypocrisy of their position when President Trump was in office. So what then is it about?
Well, when he was in office, technically speaking, there wasn't a vaccine until after the election anyways. And the concern was obviously that he was going to say it was fine before the FDA made its approval. And this was before we had it, before it came out, and the idea was he was going to sell it whether the scientists believed it was ready or not, because he wanted it out before the election, because he thought that's the way to re-election. So if he could just get it out on his timeline, not science's timeline, we just go ahead with it.
And
this is about the left's wiping out of any sense of objective values. God-given big R rights, Will, it's always been. They don't like competition with the state. Anything that competes with the state, a God-given right, is an impediment, an obstacle to the left. If they can take away the biggest obstacle of all to their agenda, the idea that you have control over your own body, you are not sovereign over your own body and skin, then it's all for...
Yeah, you are. You're just not sovereign over other people's body and skin, fucko. How do they not get this? Here's the other thing, too. Maybe it isn't about spread. Maybe you don't give a rap fuck. Maybe you get vaccinated and you can spread it to other people, right? That's the idea. But you're arguing that other people don't need to get vaccinated, and you spread it to those people, and they clog up the fucking emergency room so a bus crash with a bunch of kids, there's a lot of these kids die because there's not a goddamn hospital bed for them, because it's full of fuckers that follow you down some alleyway that you don't even go down yourself. That's the part of this that bugs me, because let's say you get vaccinated. It lowers your chance of ending up in the hospital. That's the primary thing that the vaccine does. You can still get it. Like I said, my dad and my stepmother are both double vaccinated. They were about to get their booster shots and they caught it or whatever. And they're puny right now, but they're not in the fucking hospital. And they're not on a ventilator. And they're not, using up monoclonal antibodies and other shit that have to be used for other people who can't take the vaccine, who have to go in. And they're not taking up a hospital bed that somebody who's been in a car accident or has a stroke or a heart attack has to use. This fucker doesn't give a shit about hospitals being over capacity. And that's, by the way, largely what the concern about COVID has always been about. The overwhelming of our medical system, because there's a lot of reasons people get sick, a lot of reasons why people end up in the hospital. And if every hospital's ICU is overrun with a contagious disease that is very dangerous, then the people who are involved in car accidents while life continues to go on, or have heart attacks or strokes or medical emergencies because of diabetes or any number of things, can't go to the fucking hospital because that very place might kill them, like a rando staph infection. This is a total disregard for the safety and well-being of people beyond fucking COVID.
Well, it's law.
If the hospitals are full of COVID patients, in deference to his cancer diagnosis, a lot of early stage cancer diagnoses were ignored or missed because people couldn't go to the hospital, and they had to stop elective procedures and certain medical appointments, and people let stuff go because the hospitals were fucking full of COVID patients. And if you're already on your heels health-wise, going to a fucking hospital full of that is overwhelmed by COVID is more dangerous. So people were weighing that against going and getting their health checked. And this asshole is arguing for more of that, and especially in red states, because that's where this shit is happening. This is not happening in the bluest of blue cities. Even in the blue states where it's happening, where their numbers are up a little compared to other places statistically, it's because of the red areas, the Stocktons, the Devin Nunes districts of California that caused this. Even in the blue states, these are just the rampant Republican areas are the ones that drive up the numbers in those areas, because everywhere else they're handling it. But in the red states themselves that are overwhelmingly Trump states, these are the ones that are spiking. And while these things are spiking, and while there is a 80-25 percentage of going to the hospital and ending up dead zone of things, that 20% of people that get COVID that could end up, that have comorbidities, or they're obese, or they have kidney issues, or they're, immunological difficulties, or that they know or don't know about, that end up in the fucking hospital, take up beds that are not there for car crash victims and stroke victims and heart attack victims and people with, aneurysms and bloodborne diseases and fucking, wandering through a swamp and having some sort of parasite wiggle up your dick and you end up in the hospital. My dad has kidney issues. My dad he does dialysis. That's exactly why. That's the scary part of this. This fucker doesn't care. He's like, I don't know, people, you get it. And, most people are healthy, so they won't end up in the hospital. Well, that's not what we're worried about. Those people spread it to people who aren't healthy. 60% of Americans are obese or overweight. If you are obese or overweight, not only do you have a higher chance of getting hospitalized, which is why our numbers in the States can be higher than some other countries that have a lesser obesity problem, but also people who are overweight or obese carry a bigger viral load, so they spread it more. And look at any of the Trump gatherings, the super spreader events he's had, and the vast majority of people there are not, the MTGs who do, Christian CrossFit every goddamn day. They have comorbidities even beyond their weight issues. And if they do catch it, they're going to carry more of it throughout the rest of the fucking country. And this fucker wants that to happen more. And it's not going to happen in blue states because we're all vaccinated. Because Democrats are largely getting vaccinated, because Fauci and the CDC and the NIH gave emergency use authorization and then gave full authorization for its use after following the science. Not going on Trump's word, going by the science. And because this is an evolving threat, and because a lot of people, by the way, you know what happens when you carry a bigger viral load? Because you're overweight and or you have other comorbidities and you carry more of that viral load with you, you raise the chances that there are more mutations. So the United States is uniquely vulnerable in those kind of circumstances. And Trump's circle and the people that this fucker talks to every day on the radio are uniquely in danger from this. But this asshole is selling some version of freedom, which has nothing to do with personal responsibility, taking care of your fellow American, none of that stuff. No patriotism. All individuals, just like hyper libertarian, fuck everybody. This is such a lie. This whole bullshit where he's beating his chest about freedom, it's fucking embarrassing. And Maddie, don't feel bad for being overweight. Just know that that's part of it. That is absolutely part of the concern, which is why we want people to, keep their weight under control as best they can, eat healthier, eat more whole foods, do all that kind of stuff. So you keep your body in good shape because of all the ancillary aspects of this, not just to your own health, but to other people's health as well. Because we love you, we want you to be around for a long fucking time. And for me, that even applies to Republicans. Every troll who's in here, who I'm telling you, there's no fucking like weird swimmers or fucking RFID chips in the goddamn vaccine. It's just a vaccine. It's an mRNA vaccine that attacks a particular spike protein on this particular disease. Now, if your idea of America First is allowing some, a lab in Wuhan to murder half the population in the United States for freedom's sake, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. I don't know why that's important to you. I also, and this is on a side note, I put this in the thing, I also don't understand the logic behind Bill Gates is going to kill us with a vaccine, as opposed to, because if you were really an evil genius, you would just you'd create a real disease and then only save the people who vaccinated themselves, because you could never vaccinate the majority of people quickly enough in a spreading disease, right? That talking people into getting a shot or getting it through all the processes, that's a lot of scrutiny. That's a lot of people looking at it and going, wait a second, this has got RFID chips in it. I can't even get it through the needle. Right? You would think you would craft a genetically modified disease, release it into the world, and the only people you would save are people who were willing to take the vaccine. Therefore, they're on the team to be part of a functioning society, as opposed to, why would you create a situation where the disease is fake, but you create a vaccine that only kills the people who are pro-vaccine and leaves alive anti-vaxxers only? What kind of society could you possibly hope to have? I mean, at those point, what are you going to do? Soft kill the people who are vaccinated, and then just you have to set up FEMA camps for the other people. It just makes no fucking sense. It's the stupidest thing ever. New World Order team. Well, we also know that the issue with the New World Order is that what was the Old World Order? You can't know what the New World Order is unless you know what the Old World Order. And we know what the Old World Order was: dictators, theocracies, and monarchies. The New World Order is an alliance of democracies. There's a reason why there's constantly conspiracy theories around the New World Order, or the concept in the New World Order, that is fomented and pushed by dictatorships through the internet and all kinds of other sources. Just get used to the idea. Just saying. The New World Order is an alliance of democracies. Russia hates it. China hates it. Fucking Erdogan hates it. The Saudis hate it. They hate it. They hate the idea that democracies like the United States and Great Britain and Australia and France and NATO nations and stuff are going to get together and create democracies, and sound democracies, and protect themselves against dictatorships on their borders that will fuck up democracy. That's what they're worried about. Anyways, I don't understand the plot that is supposed to exist. Maybe someone could explain to me one day how it'd be way easier to create some CRISPR-Cas9 evil virus and only give the vaccine to people you like. But trying to get a needle in everybody's arm is a really expensive way to wipe out the world. It just doesn't make logical sense.
Telling you this has nothing to do with the vaccine to these maniacs on the...
Yeah, it does. It has everything to do with the vaccine, dummy. Well, and technically speaking, I guess it has something to do with the disease and the fact that you fuckers want to clog up the goddamn emergency rooms. You don't want medical intervention when it comes in the form of a vaccine, but the minute you get sick and need it, you'll let somebody shove a fucking plastic hose down your throat and turn you over while you sleep through it for the next few months while they load you up with every fucking chemical they can find. Look, all right, hold on. Look at this shit. All right. Let me see. Humor of their. Whoops. Let's see how we do this. Used on COVID patients. Let's see. Going to zero for 4 most promising dexamethasone. Let's see. COVID treatment. Let's see. The therapies used number of. Let's see. And I'll look at news. Hi, you're crawling on my leg. Hi, Chip. I know. Hi. What are you doing? What are you doing? Get out of there. Come here. No. Come here. Chip, come here. Get out from under my... No. Chip's under the desk. Come here, you. Come here. Come here, you. Come here. There he is. Hi. Are you... What is the problem, Mr. Man? I'm doing research. I'm trying to work. And you're just purring. You just want to fall asleep on me and you're mad. So you start messing around. He starts meowing in the night. I'm like, what is he meowing about? And then I start walking downstairs and he's like, oh, food. And then I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on with you. while he crawls around under my desk and starts playing with things, and then I pick him up and he falls asleep in my lap. Hi, buddy. I know. Here, just stay right here. You're fine. So okay, let's see right here. You must protect against severe disease. Let's see. I have to look COVID in ICU. Oh, here's a New England Journal message. This is fun. Toxic effects from ivermectin use associated with prevention and treatment of COVID-19. You think? By the way, the idea that ivermectin may or may not help is immaterial. It's the fact that these people want to take this untested thing, and yet when they talk about the vaccines, a no-go, but ivermectin because somebody told them on a Facebook group that it'll work. Let's see. I'll see do a image of this. Yeah. So when people end up in the fucking hospital like this, they have these giant look at these bags of shit that are going into them. You know, and you guys have seen this on the outside. They don't want a needle in their arm, but look at the fucking tubes going into these folks who end up in the hospital. And when they put, look at this bags of stuff that they're constantly, from monoclonal antibodies and all these other things, while you got a fucking tube down your throat, they're just pouring stuff into you regularly, trying anything to keep you from fucking dying. And in a lot of cases, they have to have these outside the room you're in, because the nurses, they don't want them going in the room with you. But just look at the volume of shit that they're having to put in, like all these tubes. Like, see these little jacks that are on everything? That's how they run another IV bag of treatments and stuff into you. Look at this shit. Like, and this look at the dude they were proning in this other shot. Yeah, look at that guy. They fucking turn you over so you can breathe easier while they're running this shit into you. Look at these bags. Look at this stuff. Look at these hanging bags of other shit that they're putting into your body just to try and stabilize you. And they're like, this has never been about the vaccine. Fuck you. It's not. It's about somebody who won't take the vaccine, who it will have no negative reactions to it, having some sort of lunatic belief system put on them by you or by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. or some fucko they read on Facebook. And then they end up in the hospital using all this shit when somebody who's been in a car crash can't get a goddamn bed, or somebody who needs oxygen because they have asthma or something has to sit in the fucking parking lot of the hospital. God damn, this asshole. It's fucking stupid.
Nothing. They know full well natural immunity is a biological fact, a Charlie Brown encyclopedia fact a 3-year-old knows about. It is not.
No, not necessarily. This is a moving thing. So in some cases, it will work, and it's been shown to work. But during the process of this, it was no guarantee. And reinfections were becoming a problem. And the reinfections were just as bad as the initial infection in some cases. And that was the concern. Therefore, they were saying you should get the vaccine as well so it doesn't come back again. That's what that was about. And if it shows over time that natural immunity is enough, that's one thing. But you're testing this shit on human lives while we're running out of hospital beds in neighborhoods that voted for Donald Trump.
About that. It is about taking from you every last competition to the power of the state and your idea of that you are sovereign over your own body.
Here's a thought to leave this.
Or here's an idea. Bootstrap yourself, start your own business, and if you've got under 100 employees, do whatever the fuck you want.
Conversation with Dan. If we're going to say goodbye to 40% of our firefighters, 30% of our police officers, if the number is 3%,
you're not. You're not going to lose 40 or 30% of either of those groups.
If we're going to say goodbye to the services we pay for, why do we pay for them?
Thank you, Foggy. Bill Maher won't have me on. It's a long story.
Why are we paying taxes? Dan, I always love talking.
You're paying taxes so we can have a structured vaccine rollout, and our medical system isn't overwhelmed by a bunch of libertarian fuckheads who don't give a shit if they're taking up a bed that might be better used for a child with leukemia, you asshole. P.S. You work for a company with a vaccine mandate. P.S. This dickhead is a frequent guest in studio.
Good point.
I love to hear about your principled stand. You and I will be talking more in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
What principled stand, shithead? You work at Fox where they have it. You haven't walked off the job. And by the way, this dude's vaccinated. They're both vaccinated. They're both on Fox News right now. There is no principled stand. There is no situation where Dan Bongino is going, I'm not going on Fox anymore. I can't go on Fox anymore. They have a vaccine mandate. Where is the principle in any of this? This whole segment is bullshit. Bongino, you're full of shit. Whoever this dude is, you're full of shit. Chip knows it, and Chip has gassy butt. He knows it. Right? Right, Chip? Chip so just wants to just go to sleep right now. Oh my God. He's just like, dude, really? I'm so over this. I find your yelling at the camera so comforting. Chip is slowly but surely turning me into a Bond villain. Hold on.
Dr. Evil. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my underground lair.
Do you realize, by the way, just for the record, that Blofeld with his cats is the first film evidence of an anxiety pet in cinema that I'm aware of. That basically he had an anxiety pet. For the record. Anyways, so can we just agree across the board that both of these assholes have zero principles, and they are arguing ferociously that they have these principles and that their principles have meaning when they're both on Fox News, which has a vaccine mandate. He's still showing up. This guy hasn't left work. They're both vaccinated, and they're like, even though I'm vaccinated, it's not about vaccines. I'm just not doing this anymore. Fuck you. He's doing this because his radio show wants to do it, and he's got some anti-vaxxers in his producer squad or some shit, and they're like, you're going to have to use a different producer. And he's like, fuck. Nobody else wants to work with me. Either that or they're just tired of you and they're just going to, this is cover for the fact that Cumulus wants to kick him to the curb and give the slot to somebody else. Because because Brian Kilmeade doesn't make this stupid argument every day, and his blather is just as stupid. God.
It's the host of
just fucking lazy bullshit. Jobber jab. Then quit, asshole. Quit. No one is stopping you. Fucking quit. You, this dude, whoever the fuck he is, quit your job. And then tell Dan Bongino to never come on Fox ever again because they have a mandate. Just fucking hop on over to OAN or Newsmax or just post your shit on Parler and move the fuck on. Because there is absolutely there is zero principle in this entire exchange that's allegedly about principle. It's fucking irritating. This is childish bullshit.